Guys, it's your boy Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction. Tonight we're gonna be giving a listen to "What If I Break" from the band Windwalkers. Very excited to jump into this one. I had the lovely pleasure of getting to interview Trevor a couple weeks ago. I've I felt really bad. He had this was a first for the channel. He had a nosebleed like mid interview and made it like a champ. I'll tell you what, the dude stuck it out, and we're here. So big ups to Trev for sticking it out, and the interview is awesome. If you've wanted to know more about Windwalkers, that is going to be the best time to come and check that out. It's not coming out this week. I believe it's coming out the following week after Thanksgiving. So keep your eyes peeled. But either way, I'm talking about things that are not relevant right now. Tonight, we're going to be giving a listen to "What If I Break" in full, front to back, all 11 songs. I'm very excited. I've listened to all of the singles in very grave detail. So I'm excited to listen to the songs that aren't singles. If you would like to pick the record up, please check the link in the description. That will give you the best opportunity to go give this album some love. So the first song is "Feeding the Gods." This is a new one. I have not listened to this one yet. Trevor, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but thank you. Appreciate it. Nick, thank you for joining. Much love. But let's get into "Feeding the Gods" first and give this bad boy a spin, because your boy's got to go to sleep. So gotta get this rocking. All right.
Salt and blood, spoken tongue.
Okay.
Needed a reason, some confirmation. All your words I heard wrong. It's sentimental, but it's eating me up.
Ooh, okay.
I even admit I sold my soul for the shit. I fed my body to the beast, and I would do it again. I'm not at all innocent. Fall to my knees and descend into the center room, asking, do they like me now?
Ooh, those like harmonies.
Do they like
Sick.
me now?
Okay.
I feel the crosses turning on the walls.
Okay.
Everything I love for what I want. Now they're surrounding all around me, waiting for my blood to fall. Digging holes,
Okay.
catacomb, a faint ambition coming collected. My new perspective is eating me up alive. I've even admitted
I love the electronic elements of this. So sick. Woo! Oh, yeah. I love that. So sick.
Pulled me from the light and gave me everything I feel. The cross is turning on the walls. Everything I love for what I want. They're surrounding all around me, waiting for my blood to fall. Living exodus, I can't fight out. Give you everything I wanted all. They're surrounding all around me, waiting for my blood to fall.
Man, that song, production-wise, slaps. Love it. Guys, that was "Feeding the Gods" off of What If I Break. You can check the link below. Go pick it up. I literally, it was payday yesterday, and I picked up the vinyl, so it's well on my way. I'm stoked. Unfortunately, I think it's past the time where you can pre-save the album to be entered in to win the test press, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I'd love to have it, but I don't know. We'll leave it up to the gods here. Jared, what's going on? This band is tight. You for real, 100%. But yes, this first song, really great. I think it starts off the album in an interesting way, especially if you have listened to the singles already. It kind of gives you a little bit of a metric on what it's going to sound like. But I do think there was a lot more electronic elements in this song specifically. So I love that inclusion of it, or I guess more of an inclusion of it, because I know they do include that in pretty much all of their songs. But I think this one was a little bit more forward with it. The way that the drops were affected in the song were really, really sick. I think like a lot of the ways that they layered the clean singing as well as the screaming works out super well. When Trevor and I were talking in the interview, I just loved how they played with the dynamics of the sound, because I think it does really add this sort of textural element to the song that, again, you get a breakdown, you get the clean vocals, you get the screaming, and I think it all blends super well together. And then adding some of those like almost like hip hop, like trap kind of pop hooks in there, very evocative of bands like Bad Omens, Dayseeker, things of that, especially new Dayseeker and new Bad Omens. I think if you enjoyed those bands, I think this is a band you're gonna love, because they incorporate a lot of those heavier elements, but also have like insanely good hooks. And I think this band does it. But yeah, if this is the first song that you're listening to and you listen through to the album in full, this is a great way to kind of just kick the record off. Trevor's vocals are super, super tight, whether it be from the screaming side of things, but also the clean singing. There's definitely songs where I feel like he flexes a little bit more vocally, but this one had some really cool like melodic harmonies, especially more so in like the verses and stuff, was really, really tight. But yeah, dynamically, this was like kind of a little heavy, a little electronically heavy as well, so I think those meshed up super well. So this one is definitely going to be pretty high on the list for sure. But the next song is the Overlook. This is one that I have not listened to as well. The ones that I have listened to are Dead Talk, Body Bag, Dissipate, Hangfire, Drowning Him, and I think that's it. So very excited. So let's get into the Overlook and let's give it a listen. Okay. Oh, bro.
Place to feel safe within these walls.
Okay.
With a future so safe, replace my mistakes. I don't fit in, but I'm right where I belong.
Okay.
Speaking, they're calling out and they're saying my name, and I'm all that they want. I feel the blood coursing through my veins, and now I know we're the same. They're calling me up.
Ooh, I like this like really dark undertone of this track.
And I'm all that they want. I feel the blood coursing through my veins, and now I know I'm insane. I swallow
Fuck.
tearing me up inside. Shine through me, shine to the edge of my mind. Till the edge of Take the hollow. Fill me up with constant light.
Little toms, okay.
Precedence I'm hold. Do you feel like losing yourself within these walls? Well, I've lost it long ago.
Okay. Little drum roll.
I feel the blood coursing through my veins, and now I tearing me up inside. Shine through me, shine to the edge of my mind.
This chorus is huge. All right, we're getting a little ethereal bridge section here. Okay. Is screaming. Holy shit. All right. Well, it's good to know that they did not skimp on the heavy on some of the songs they didn't release, because that was, I'll be honest, that was a little bit of my concern, because I did listen to Drowning Hymns and I was like, man, this shreds. I'm curious of whether or not they're gonna be a little bit more melodic, or they're gonna be a little heavier. And it's been nice to kind of fit that difference. Like, I think that they, especially if you've listened to the singles already, if you are listening through to the album in full, this may not make as much sense right now, but I do think musically they have a lot of stuff that is more on that melodic, a little bit more softer. If you're into like a lot more of the clean singing, then there are going to be a lot of songs here for you. But I also think if you are heavier and you like heavy songs, I think you're going to definitely have a good bit of songs on this album that are going to be heavy, that are going to fit your needs as well. But I do think if you kind of like a combination of those two things, you do like the heavy, you do like the clean singing, then I think you're going to find that this album is probably going to be pretty much up your alley. But the song, The Overlook, really enjoyed this one. Very heavy out the gate. That super low tune, D-tune guitar was super sick. And then they get into this like kind of like electronic, vibey sort of verse part, and then that chorus just hits. Like, I love the pre-chorus where it's got like this little bit of like eerie kind of dark sensibility to it, and then it kicks into that like gnarly chorus part. Love that. I thought that was really sick, and dynamically it's really fun because you get a little bit more of that softer, vibey kind of verse part, and then you get hit with these large breakdowns or like just heaviness that kind of counteracts that. Love that a ton. As well as that bridge was really sick, the way that they kind of set it up. Some of the screaming on this was wild, like the way that the screams are kind of layered out, where you have like more of that like mid to like high, like mid-range growl, mid to high range growl, and then you got this low end that just adds in all of this like sort of textural elements, stuff like that. I love that. And I also love the way that Trevor kind of goes about this really like Sam Carter-esque like scream vocal fry like singing. That's really sick, and I think he really kind of finds a good niche point to hit those parts within the song specifically. One part I can point out more specifically is that part in that bridge outro, when it gets into that last chorus. That was really sick. And also just the way that the song ended was a little bit different structurally and vibe-wise than the beginning portion of this song. So I do like that kind of juxtaposition in the way that they were able to kind of fit the narrative a little bit better for this song specifically, and kind of dynamically keep it fun and interesting. But this is another great heavy song, so if you are a heavy fan, I think you're going to be eaten. So love it. The next one is Dead Talk. I have listened to this one. I actually, before all of the songs were released on this album, I put all of the singles on a playlist on my Spotify, so I just ran through all of them. So I've been listening to them on and off for like the past like couple weeks since I've had Trevor on, and man, they're just a good like vibe. It's again good mix of singles, but we are going to get into Dead Talk, so I can stop talking and we can get into the next one. So let's give it a listen.
I feel you in a different plane, unknown, hating myself for forgetting your voice, the things you would say, tend to let my mind take over my brain sometimes, sleeping when I'm awake, staying locked up in my head where I speak with the dead, should I surrender, 'cause nothing lasts forever, I've broke bones to get
No vibes, man.
just gotta keep it together. Everything I'm dreaming of fades into gray. The life that I've envisioned seems so bright anyway. Finding that peace, digging so deep it hurts to look in. Cuts through, I don't have the skin. Lying like you want it. I'm trying to compose it. Thinking about your voice and things you would say. Tend to let my mind take over my brain sometimes. Sleeping when I'm awake. I just wanna speak with the dead. Wanna scream with the dead, yeah. Should I surrender? 'Cause nothing lasts forever. I've broke bones to get this far. Just gotta keep it together. Everything I'm dreaming of fades into gray. The life that I've envisioned seems so bright anyway. Giving it
I like this switch up in the bridge.
turns the corner to your end. Speak with me. Tell me you're not leaving when you go. Not leaving when you go. Not leaving when you go. Should I surrender? 'Cause nothing lasts forever. I've broke bones to get this far. Just gotta keep it together. Everything I'm dreaming of fades into gray. The life that I've envisioned seems so bright anyway. It seems so bright anyway.
All right, guys, that was track 3, Dead Talk from Windwalker's newest album, What If I Break. If you like it so far, please go pick up the album. Link is in the description, of course. I enjoyed this one a lot. This was one of the singles that I have listened to. I have listened to all of these singles way too much, but I think it gives me a little bit of a point to talk about this song that much more. So, I went through all of the singles before I had Trevor on, so at the time I think it was all of the ones that are out now, so pretty much most of them. And I really enjoyed this one. I think I did not give it as much love when I originally listened to it, and now that I've kind of listened to all of these, I don't know, probably within the 20 to I would say like 20 or 30 time range now at this point. This song really continues to stick out to me more and more every time that I listen to it. And I think even on this time, I felt like, man, this is such a great song. But I think that the intentionality behind that song is so good. The way that the hooks get really stuck in your head. I mean, I was literally humming along to like the first verse of this song just because I've started to pick up the vocal melody, the vocal lines of that first verse. So to me, it's like, once I know I'm like subconsciously starting to do those things, that's how I know it's a good song. And I think a lot of the hooks really get stuck in your head, gives you that kind of earworm quality. And I think that has a lot to do with Trevor's more apt attention to pop music. I think he has a very good ear for having a lot of those like melodic lines, and I think they do a very good job of keeping you interested and keep you in intense. And just kind of keeping you in that moment of the song. The chorus was very good as well too, but I do think that it kind of like the energy from the verses to the choruses feels like it kind of keeps that same sort of energy, which I love, and I think it keeps it like fluid in that way. But it's when that song hits that bridge part and everything kind of switches up, that's when you really can tell that the song has kind of like shifted gears. So I love that. Also enjoyed the screaming addition in the bridge as well, in that like bridge breakdown section. That was really cool. And I think dynamically, if you look at the song from a whole, there's a lot. I would say like 90% of this is clean singing and 10% of screaming, but I like the fact that they kind of sprinkled in a little screaming. So if you are more of a fan of this style of music and you like more of the clean singing and you like more of maybe the dynamics of the instrumentation, like you maybe come from like the Rain City Drive camp, then I think this is going to be a little bit more akin to your wheelhouse, where I think like if, again, for myself, like I kind of like a mixture of both. So this one I still love a ton, but I think like for me, it's like I like when the balance is there. And I think this song does a great job of kind of giving you a little bit of extra, a little spice, you know? So I love the fact that that's included in it. But yeah, the like string section, the way that the strings kind of match up with like almost a little bit of like the vocal melody lines, I thought that was very cool as well. But yeah, I think this is, to me, in that sort of case of how much can you vocally flex to keep the song like still appealing time over time. And I think the song does have the vocal flex that I love, but I also think it does have the hooks to kind of back all that sort of vocal flexing up, if that makes sense. So love that. This is a very great song. If you haven't given this a listen, you can go give the whole album a listen because it's out now. So please go show it some love. But the next track is track 4. It's Body Bag. This is another one I watched. I want to give a shout out to Alex over at I think it's Black Wolf Imaging, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. Sorry, Alex, if I don't remember it off the top of my dome. But Alex is a good homie. Love that dude. Salutes. But yeah, he did an amazing job on all of these music videos. So if you have an opportunity, go watch the music videos if you can. But yeah, this next one's Body Bag. So let's hop into it.
Under pressure, but the good kind, yeah. The kind of make your lungs swell up and feel lightheaded. I'm chasing what you got, and I know I'm not being myself. When I'm throwing some unconscious lines, maybe if you recognized it. Will you hang up when I call? Leave me up all alone. Disconnect from my soul, even if it makes you sad. I don't got what you need. Just be sure when you leave that you leave me in a body bag, yeah. Just leave me in a body bag. Just leave me in a body bag. Yeah, I've put you over about 100 times. It's getting easier to lie on you, knowing it ain't right to feel high.
I love that sub vocal. I didn't even hear that the first time around. So sick.
Disconnect from my soul, even if it makes you sad. I don't got what you need. Just be sure when you leave that you leave me in a body bag. Just leave me in a body bag. Just leave me in a body bag. So, I don't say that I miss you, not chasing after you anymore. So, I'm lost without virtue. It's not that I want to start a war.
Little clean guitar action. All right.
I don't got what you need. Just be sure when you leave that you leave me in a body bag. Just leave me in a body bag. Just leave me in a body bag. So, I don't say that I miss you, not chasing after you, not anymore.
Hitting the high notes. All right, let's go.
I'm lost without virtue. It's not that I want to start a
Paradiddle. All right.
war. See me in a body bag, yeah.
This one hits every time. All right, guys, that was track 4, Body Bag. I have listened to this one a lot. I love this song. I know I did mention earlier about like dynamically keeping the song interesting. I think this song does a very good job of keeping those dynamics strong and very interesting as well. I love the incorporation of the piano, the way that the electronics are worked out. I think also as well as that, like the way that the vocals are kind of commingling in this song do a really great job of keeping you interested, keeping you invested, and I think that's a really, really strong point of what I think Windwalker does very well. It's like what I've noticed with all of their songs is that the hooks are always memorable to me. There's something about it, like you can hear where kind of the vocal runs would be going, or to where the effective, where they might be going. And I love that. I think there is that level of kind of like familiarity, but I also think at the same point, like Trevor does a really great job of kind of doing a lot of ad-lib-y sort of stuff, very evocative of a lot of like pop artists. And I think that, I think again, very similar to Dead Talk, I think gives him an opportunity to kind of flex off a lot of his vocal prowess. And this song specifically just doesn't have any screaming in it, but I think is very dynamically interesting because I think a lot of the instrumentation of this song really takes off in more of a unique way as opposed to if we incorporate screaming into it. And I think it keeps the focus not more specifically on one thing, but just kind of the song as a whole. You hear a little bit of like, again, the sub vocals. Like I think it was definitely vocals that were pitched down and just kind of like laid out as like more of a sub bass for the like main vocals to be highlighted more. So I love that. It was something I never really pointed out while I was listening to it in my car or like at my job. So it was something they really kind of focus a little bit more in on, as well as that. Love the kind of stops, you give a little breath, you give a little moment for people to kind of collect themselves, and you hit them with like a really strong chorus or you hit them with a strong bridge. I love when bands play with dynamics in that way. It really keeps the song fun and very lively. So I love that fact of it as well. But again, I think this is another great vocal showcase of Trevor. I think vocally he's very unique. I love the fact that, again, you can get these sort of like really beautiful like vocal melody runs, but then also at the same time you can get some really brutal screaming. And I think there is this really cool kind of chameleon effect that he does, where again you get more of the heavier, aggressive, rough stuff, and then you also get these really kind of serene, beautiful, melodic, ethereal kind of vocal lines as well. So it's a good counterbalance, and as I mentioned before, I think they are a great band that if you have not listened to a lot of heavy music, I think this is probably a very good band to start off with, because I think it gives you a little bit of a basis for both. You know, the first two songs are really heavy, I would argue, to most people that don't listen to this type of music, but I think once you get into Dead Talk, Body Bag, then things start to change and start to shift. And then, you know, maybe by that time you're like, oh, I get it. Now it makes sense. But yeah, this was a great one. Music video also, again, shot by our lovely friend here at Audio Addiction, Alex. So big salutes. But yeah, this was another fantastic song, and just shows off that like pop polish that I love. So definitely a very sick one. The next one is track 5, which is Euphoria, What a Feeling. I have not listened to this one. This one is a new one for me as well, so we are going to get into it, and let's see what it's all about. Okay. It's really cool bass line. All right. And drumming. Toms. Ooh. That like delayed guitar. Okay. It's kind of like trap feel. All right, interesting. And it's got more of a rock feel. Okay. Halftime section. Oh, okay. Ooh, all right. Back to that halftime section a little bit. What a different song. Interesting. Okay. Okay, Windwalkers. I see you. Anyway, guys, this was Windwalkers' newest song off of their newest album. This one is Euphoria, What a Feeling, and it's off their new album, What If I Break. Check the links below if you'd like to go pick it up. Go support these guys. But yeah, this one I was a little bit surprised by. This one feels a little bit more a little bit more rock leaning, surprisingly. This had a little bit of like rock, a little bit of trap. Like it was kind of a little bit all over the place, but I like the way that they kind of reined this one in a unique way. So definitely a lot more like instrumental like texturing going on. Beginning of the part of the song is like a really nice like distorted bass riff, and then you get these really sick drums that match up with that sort of like odd kind of styling choice, but I love it. Not odd in a bad way. I just want to preface that I did not dislike it. I actually liked it. So it was a good change of pace. But I love that sort of dynamically interesting part of the song. Very cool. Then you get into the chorus, and it's more of like that kind of like power chords or bar chords kind of like, riff, which I do enjoy. But then you get into the second verse, and there's this really interesting kind of like really delayed guitar riff that I thought was very cool. And I like that the guitar kind of took a little bit of a backseat, if I'm going to be honest. I like the fact that was a little bit of a different take. The bass kind of be more of the focal point of the song, as well as the drumming. I like the dynamic switch up in that song specifically. But yeah, the trap like section, that drop off, I was not expecting that. That was very interesting, very different. But I'm actually a little bit not as surprised as I feel like I should be, just because they have been incorporating a lot of like electronic elements into their music. So I wasn't as surprised as I felt like I should be, but I was surprised nonetheless because I think it was incorporated in a really fun way. But the song was great. Really enjoyed it. Definitely a little bit more on the rock and more ethereal sort of side. I think it's a little bit more experimental, so I like the fact that they changed it up and gave me something a little different. But yeah, this was another fantastic song. So we are going to move it on to the next track, which is the first song that I listened to from Windwalkers, which is Dissipate, and this is what started it all for me. So feeling a little feels right now, so I'm stoked. But let's get into Dissipate, track 6. Give it a listen.
Take me from the lake before I drift away. Listen to the waves. I wanna feel. Every night I do it, I suppose. I compromise my paranoia rose. I know it weighs on you. Every night another disaster that I've manifested. I'm holding my past on you. I can see the stars align every time. Take me from the lake before I drift away. Listen to the waves. I wanna feel like the rest of them. Love with confidence, trusting innocence. Take me from the lake. If everything I need are things that I can't keep, then I can't tell what's necessary. Watch me break. I don't think I plead too much. You're lying in my dreams, and I'm not alone. I don't have the heart to tell you I give anything just to feel like the rest of it. Love with confidence, listen innocent, save me from the lake.
All right, guys, that was track 6, Dissipate. As I mentioned before, this was a song that I first heard. This was the pinnacle song that I listened to from Windwalkers that got me ultimately hooked on this project. So really stoked at it. Again, I know I keep mentioning it a lot in this, but I was really stoked to talk to Trevor. I think there was some really cool things that he discussed in that interview that I think is very, very exciting. At least I would argue for this group. So hopefully you'll be keeping your eyes peeled for that. But this song itself, really enjoyed this one. Besides the kind of sentimental value that this song has inherently already on its own, I think it's a very well written song. I've been talking a lot about kind of mixing that heavy and melodic sound, and I think this song does a very good job of kind of crossing the lines between both. I think it definitely has a lot of those sort of great melodic elements that you would hear from a Body Bag, you would hear from a Dead Talk, but I also think it has a lot of heavier moments that you would hear from like the Overlook or like Feeding the Gods. So I think that this kind of hits that straddle point between the two of those. So I think if there was any song that I would argue to listen to if you want to get an idea of what this entire album gives you, I think Dissipate was a very good single to choose because it does give you that kind of best of both worlds situation. I loved some of the more electronic focused elements. I was saying in the interview, reminded me a lot of like the Midnight meets like Dayseeker kind of vibes in this song. Especially that sort of like 80s pop synth kind of vibe. It's got that super strong like selling point to that song specifically, but then I think if you'll think about it from like more of the hooks perspective, there's a lot of great hooks, there's a lot of great melodies going on in this track specifically, and I think it does a great job of highlighting those sorts of hooks. I would also say vocally, it's very fun. I think there is a lot of moments for Trevor to just kind of go out and belt and do his thing, and then also get a little bit softer and hit a little bit of those nice, like, little falsetto-y sort of sounds as well. It's really well acquainted and well acclimated to, I think, what people would... I would argue what people would kind of give in terms of in terms of sounds for Windwalkers. I think it does a great job of finding that medium point where, again, having the heaviness but also having the melodicness of the tracks. I think it does hit that good middle ground. As well as that, really enjoyed the instrumentation from the drums, the guitars, the bass, and think it really holds up super well. But I also, again, give a massive shout outs to kind of the synths, the electronics, a lot of the layering going on in this track, because I think it does aid in the ability to have that sort of earworm quality. And I think with each one of these songs, like, there's a lot of great hooks, there's a lot of great melodies, again, pulling a lot from that sort of pop background, like The Weeknd, like a lot of those more soulful singers, like, again, a Rain City Drive. I think that it kind of straddles those lines between the pop and heaviness of music. So great single, and I would argue still one of my favorite songs off this album. I would be hard pressed to maybe find a song that competes more, but we still got the latter half of this album and 3 out of the 5 songs I have not listened to. So I think we need to get into the back half of this album, which is Losing My Color is the next one. So let's hop into that one, see what it's all about. Okay, we're getting a little soft one.
I'm aware of the stare on my face. I'm losing my color. 'Cause I know if I die on this hill, I won't be on my dirt. You say you're right beside me, you say you're staying still. Yet I know my leaving will be wearing on your will. It's so inviting, heavy in the air.
High vocal.
The hurt, the mud, the fear for you.
Woo!
Every night, I'll be coming onto you over the sky. Yeah, in my mind, any moment, any second, I'll arrive. There's a place in the back of my head as haunting as ever. Always try to kill me. I'm delicately placed on hold. Don't know how you'd erase me or even how you could.
Ooh, okay.
Somehow the demons in the mirror
No EDM element.
I've been reflecting, though I'm unaware. Was it worth the blood, the tears for you? Every night, I'll be coming onto you over the sky. Yeah, in my mind, any moment, any second, I'll arrive. I gave too much, but I lost your touch for you. Watch the vultures devour the rest. Clip my wings, watch me
Okay,
fall
okay.
to the depths. Running from my selfishness and my greed.
Ooh. Oh, vocal run. Okay. Low leads.
Watch the vultures devour the rest. Clip my wings, watch me fall to the depths. Yeah, I would give anything for you. I'm losing my color.
All right, guys, that was track 7, Losing My Color. If you like this, check the links in the description. Please go pick up What If I Break from Windwalkers. They have everything from CDs, merch, vinyl. If you're a vinyl fan, go pick it up. I'm stoked to get mine. I got the splatter. I wasn't gonna say which one I was gonna get, but I like the splatter a lot. So if you like splatter, go get that one. But yeah, this song was, and again, Trevor kind of prefaced some of these songs to me, not like giving me the songs, because all of these songs. Like if I say I haven't listened to it, I have not listened to it, like for real. But he did give me a little bit of a comment that I was a little bit shocked about, to be honest. He said that some of these songs he's a little unsure of how some of these songs are going to be reflective, right? And like having songs that are a little bit heavier, having songs that are a little bit more melodic, and kind of what I've been stressing throughout this entire review is that like you're bound to find people that are going to be in the middle portion of that and being like, yeah, I love that. But then also at the same point, you have people on both sides where you have people that are like, I love the heavy music, you know, my favorite song is Drowning Hymns, you know, or like off the songs that weren't singles, like Feeding the Gods or The Overlook, you know, like those are ones that I think people are going to be more siding with on that aspect. But then you have people that are like, oh, I love Dissipate, I love Body Bag, you know, I love Dead Talk. and or I love Euphoria, right? Like, I think there's always going to be something that is going to be niche to somebody, but I don't think that I don't feel like a song like Losing My Color does not fit in the catalog of what I feel like Windwalker does. Like, I could see why people would maybe not be like, oh, I'm not as stoked about this one, and that's totally fine. You can have your opinion to not feel like this song is for you, right? But I do think that melodically, if you are really being attentive and you really are listening to what they're putting out, then this shouldn't feel that varied to you, at least from my perspective. Like, I can hear a lot of the kind of vocal melody lines that I would have heard in like a Dissipate, or what would have heard in a Body Bag or a Dead Talk. I don't think that it's any different. I do think it's a little bit more muted, just because the song is like a little bit more softer. It's a little bit more vibier. It gives you a little bit more of a melodic feel, which I think is nice. And also, I think this again shows off a different side of the group. And I love the way that kind of Trevor's vocals sit well in this song. That kind of like EDM beat part was very interesting, and I think it shows and highlights a lot more of his collaborative track that he did with another artist that kind of has more of that sort of EDM focus. And I know that they do try to make more of a concerted effort to include a lot of those sort of electronic elements, and I feel like a song like this does it a justice. I do think it is a little bit different than some of the other songs on the album, but I also probably felt that way very similarly to Euphoria, where I don't think that they're bad songs. I just think that they are another way to branch out, another way to have a different avenue in the grand scheme of the album. So I like it. I think this one is definitely a song that I would like to listen to more, get a little bit more involved with, and listen to it beyond this live, so I will definitely be listening to this more, and maybe I might change my mind and come around to it. It might be one of my favorite songs, but for right now, I probably put it somewhere like in that mid center right now. So we'll move it on to the next track, which is track 8. This is Hangfire. This is one of the singles that I had listened to, and then the next one, Drowning Hymns, is also another one that was a single as well, and I have heard that one. So the next two are going to be ones that are new, and then the end, we're going to have some new stuff, so I'm very excited. But let's get into Hangfire right now.
It's a feeling all around. Watching while we're sleeping, baby, drinking when we drown. So deceiving, what a sound. Making deep decisions just to have you turn around and say it's you. Pushing all my love away, and I know it's true. I'm thinking maybe you can stay. I can't live down on my knees. I'm burning up. I won't take another moment. Caught up in the hell I've in the deep end, where I'm supposed to be, where my future and my past is hanging over me. Get some luck and maybe finally I can get some sleep. I can get some sleep. How do I get some sleep? And it's you, pushing all my love away. What did I just do? Blame it on my mental state. I can't live crawling down on my knees. I'm burning up. I won't take
bridge rips.
Crawling down on my knees, no. I'm burning up, burning up. I won't take another moment. Caught up in the hell I've opened. I'm falling for your destiny. I'm burning up, burning up. I won't take another moment. Caught up in the hell I've opened.
All right, guys, that was Hangfire, track number 8. Again, have a listen to this one. That's why you could tell me humming along, singing along, vibing out. This was, I gotta give a big shout outs to both Dead Talk and Hangfire. Those were songs that were of the earlier catalog with Trevor joining the band initially. And I think that those songs, in hindsight, I guess, listening through to the entire album, I still think they do a very good job of kind of representing the band. I think obviously they're a little bit more on that like vibey or softer side, and the next one is a heavy one. But I think that they do a very good job of kind of laying the groundwork for what the rest of this album has kind of given. I love the fact that Losing My Color is directly before Hangfire, because I do think that some of the more melodic elements are borrowed in Losing My Color very similarly to Hangfire. So I love the kind of the combination of that, and just the way that the song kind of lead into each other is very fun and very nice, because I think that they are very complementary. So I love that. I also just kind of appreciate the strong chorus of this song. I think everything kind of, all roads lead to this chorus, and rightfully so. It's a great chorus. I love a lot of the kind of, again, the vocal ad-libs that Trevor does is been really fun to kind of delve into and dive into more, especially listening to these singles a lot. You do get to kind of pick out a little bit more of the more nuanced stuff. I love that, like, he's very emotive with, like, his cadence in the way that he kind of sings, and, like, even, like, I can't even kind of, like, properly antiquate it, but it's just like you can tell there's like a lot of like personality to the way that some of the lines and some of the vocal parts are delivered, and you can tell that it's like with conviction, and I think that's a really, really big selling point to me as someone who listens to a lot of bands. Like, I want to feel the pain a little bit, and I feel like this song, you can definitely hear like that tug and pull, that kind of like that vibe of the song, and you can like physically feel it. Like, I felt like I was kind of feeling like tugged back and forth in that way. So I love the song that can kind of give that sort of vibe and that sort of feeling. So great song in that respect, and I think again does a great job of really hooking you in, like a lot of these songs have, at least for the singles and the songs that I've listened to off the album thus far. They really kind of just ring home for me what I already liked about the singles and what I already like about the album already. But this was another great one. Instrumentally, again, very solid, very good. Nothing too crazy to complain about, or if anything to complain about these songs. I think they're very well written, and I think that if you look at it from the perspective of being more of a metalhead, you're like, oh, okay, like it's very generic. But I think that in that way, I don't think it's generic. I think that the way that like this song is more from a like pop structure standpoint, and I think it pulls a lot of cues from that and dynamically keeps it fun in that sort of aspect. So, and also just like the band is very talented, so it's nice to hear a little bit different variations, vibes, and kind of moods of the tracks. But yeah, Hangfire is definitely one of the ones that are up there for me. But we are going to move into another one that's pretty highly contested up there as well. This is track number 9, Drowning Hymns. So let's give it a listen.
Fingers like that wine that you drink with such conviction. Must be a heavy load to always know. How do you always stay composed with the confidence you're screaming out? Down on your knees, how do you grow? But I saw the good side coming out of your mouth. You had your arms wide open, you were preaching it out, and those eyes were so bright. The damn sun, no lie. And I saw the bad side and you bottled it up. Through the anger and the doubt, the beauty wasn't enough. This is not my kind of love. I try to sing it through your eyes. Lift me up, I look up. All that I see is the sky. Lift me up, lift me up, lift me up. Yeah, you're not keeping your pace up when you're pulling your face on lane. I watch you let them feast, but then you turn so hollow. Thought you broke every bone, take a healing dose to your body, right? Before you know you're comatose, when will you recognize it? Recognize it! I saw the good side coming out of your mouth. You had your arms wide open, you were preaching it out, and those eyes were so bright. The damn sun, no lie. And I saw the bad side and you bottled it up. And through the anger and the doubt, the beauty wasn't enough. This is not my kind of love. I try to sing it through your eyes. Lift me up, I look up. All that I see is the sky. Lift me up, lift me up, lift me up. Pacify with no fear, but you're selling it all. Pacify with no fear, but you're selling it all. Covered in blood, covered in sun. Closing your eyes, you will find the truth. No more back and forth, just spinning lies. You're selling yourself to a fallen soul.
That breakdown still hits. I love it.
I try to sing it through your eyes. Lift me up, I look up. All that I see is the sky. Lift me up, lift me up, lift me up.
Oh, I fucking love that song. Guys, that's Drowning Hymns from Windwalker off their new album, What If I Break. If you like it, check the links in the description. Go pick it up. But This one, when I first listened to it, man, I wish I could have caught my first moments of listening to this song, because in hindsight, it's 2020. But love this song a lot. I have listened to this an ungodly amount of time. That chorus, one of my favorite choruses I think I've heard all year. Super catchy, like really, really emotive. And as I was mentioning before with like Hangfire and Losing My Color, I think that this song is kind of the creme de la creme of being evocative, right? And I think that I love the fact that there's just so much like anger, there's so much emotion driving that like chorus, like the way the vocal runs hit, like the way that Trevor's vocals are as well too. It's very gritty, it's very aggressive, but like still very like melodic, very, like singable per se. So I love the fact of that. But I also think that this is just kind of like, again, a good combination of screaming and singing. I think it offers those moments where you're like, okay, I need a song where I can sing along to the big choruses, but also like just have a gnarly breakdown. I think that's why I like Dissipate and Drowning Hymns so much, is that they hit that like perfect 50-50 of like having those really strong choruses that you sing along to, but also have like fun breakdowns or fun like musical changes that keep it interesting, but also at the same time keeping it very like melodically fun, and like just love it for that sheer reason alone. But yeah, this song, at least in terms of kind of like the instrumentation, I feel like is pretty structured. You kind of know what you're getting into. It is a heavier song, and if you have listened to it as a single, you already know that. But I am very surprised that some of these songs, the way that they're kind of laid out, I'll probably give my final thoughts on my, because I still haven't listened to the last two. They could be just like ass beaters, who knows? But I feel like with Drowning Hymns, this was just like a really good step into still being super melodic, super catchy, but also incorporating a lot of more heavier elements. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I do think that they do a great job of finding that kind of niche point between being heavy, but also not taking away from like the things that hook people in, which is like a strong chorus or like a strong bridge or even strong verses, like just having a strong portion of the song to keep it more enticing, more appealing. And I think this song does a really great job of this. And I also got to give, again, I know a lot of kudos to Trevor as well. Vocally, this is just, I imagine, is pretty demanding as a vocalist. So I love that this song is just like a great hodgepodge of those things, and instrumentally I think it really matches that sort of energy of being like a very well written song and having great vocals to just sit on top of it and really kind of make a good song into a great song. And I think this one is definitely one of my favorites. I would say it's a very close second to Dissipate in my opinion. But we are getting into the final two songs. Track number 10 we are getting into right now, which is Almost Ecstasy. So let's give this one a spin.
I'm harder than I've ever been. Just another way we love to sin. Laying there with me.
Oh! Are we getting a rock ballad?
Straying from the plot, don't know how to stop it. I've given this some thought when I'd rather not. You are not my SOS anymore.
I like this synth choice.
Digging through the rot, hide it from the people.
Okay.
Cause deep inside yourself is necessary for the living in excess and losing ourselves. How can we believe in destiny? Staring at the world's back, they put doubt in my bones and turned you to stone. Saying that we got better, still signing all the hate letters with X's and O's. We live and we lose.
this chorus is huge.
What you are is everything I'm needing, and it's tearing me up and pulling me in. I'm caught writing my desperation.
Ooh, okay.
Shooting up the smoke, blowing out the car window. Yeah, speaking with her eyes, saying only words that we know. Please be my release. Oh my God, I can't stop deceiving. How do we believe in destiny? Staring at the world's back, they put doubt in my bones and turned you to stone. Saying that we got better, still signing all the hate letters with X's and O's. We living with love. Now I'm higher than I've ever been. I just love the way we love to sin. Laying there with me, almost ecstasy. Always sink into the floor again.
This chorus slams. Fuck.
Laying there with me, almost ecstasy. Yeah, this fever resides in the
Ooh.
hole in my chest that's
What a
been
switch
vacant,
up.
so vacant all night. When I can't give enough, you just open me up.
What?
You just open me up. Now I'm higher than I've ever been.
Okay.
I just love the way we love to sing. Laying there with me, almost ecstasy. Now I'm higher than I've ever been. I just love the way we love to sing. Laying there with me, almost ecstasy. Always sink into the floor again. Won't it that we need more than this? Laying there with me, almost ecstasy.
All right, guys, that was track 10, Almost Ecstasy, off of Windwalker's newest album, What If I Break. If you like it, check the links in the description. You can go pick it up. Go support these boys. They're awesome. This was, I think, the song, and based off of the chat and Trevor commenting the teeth emoji, I assume this was the one that he was most excited for me to listen to. And I gotta say, it was different. And I don't think different in a bad way, because I think ultimately people say when they're like, man, this song is different, it's going to be bad. I think this was very good. I do think, however, that this song requires more listens. I think it is like a Losing My Color situation where I think it is a little bit jarring, and especially since the fact that it's placed after Drowning Hymns, which is like a heaviest balls track, if we're going to be putting it blunt. It is a very heavy song. So to have a song that is kind of like the 180 or the complementary song to this one, I wouldn't have expected this choice. But I do like the gall and the guts of putting this song after Drowning Hymns. And here's why. I think the song is very fun. I love the kind of, again, rock aesthetic that they're bringing in with this track, very similarly to Losing My Color. But there is something very inherent that they have made more of an effort to include into their music, which is a lot of great electronic layering. The synth in this song is very fun, very like something you can point out of a needle in a haystack very easily. So I love the fact that it's very like blunt, and not maybe the sound wise, but I think just like the choice of kind of having more of that like rock edge, but then also having a little bit more of a synth play going on in the verses. I thought that was very, very, very cool. I think it keeps the song very interesting, lively, very fun. The choruses reminded me a lot of like a Holding Absence, which is one of my favorite bands. So I love the kind of anthematic, very like big, grandiose kind of like very like fun. I'm just making a lot of arm movements, but like just kind of like everything's going towards this great like chorus. So I love the fact that a lot of the focus is mainly on the chorus, but also not taking away from the song in any way with the verses, and having more of it be a little bit more melodic, has a little cool like fun musical vocal ad libs going on in there. The bridge was very 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 odd, but I think it works again well in the favor of finding that niche between like the rock elements, the more electronic elements, and I think they found a really interesting middle ground with that bridge that kind of ties everything together. So I do like that a ton. But yeah, I will say that the song was a little bit jarring upon first listen, but I will say that is probably one that will grow on me a ton, because I think of like the interesting dynamics, the way that the vocal melodies sit in this song are really beautiful, and I think they really touch the soul in that way. So I love I love the way that everything is kind of going on with this song specifically. It was just a really cool ride, and I think it fits the narrative super well, and I think it pulls out more of those sort of melodic songs like a Euphoria or like a Losing My Color in that way. So I do love that a ton. But we are going to get into the final song, which is going to be the Benz. So very, very stoked. So let's get into this last one, and then I'll read Trevor's comment at the end, or in my final last thoughts of this song. So anyway, the Benz, let's get into it. Track 11. Thanks for sticking around, Trevor.
Loose ends, sever those ties.
Ooh, okay.
I see no progress is made. That weight, all of your eyes. How long till my next mistake? I'm feeling it all around me, pressing the air I breathe. She said when cutting me out, how could this happen to me? Yeah, nothing's been changing for all my life. Pressure from every side. What if I break, go insane?
Oh, okay.
You said it, not me, all in your face, knew you were leaving. I swear I'm growing far too close to the pressure.
Oh, and a little falsetto-y part.
It always holds our lovely together. Thin lines blurring all the time. All of my promises break. What's yours never was mine. That came from a vulnerable place. I'm feeling it all around me, choking the words I speak. She said when cutting me out, how could this happen to me? What if I break, go insane? How you see me? You said it, not me, all in your face, knew you were leaving. I swear I'm growing far too close to the pressure. The way it always holds our lovely together. Yeah, nothing's been changing for all my life. Pressure from every side. What if I break, go all insane? How would you see me?
Oh, I like the vocal layering on this.
You said it, not me, all on your face, knew you were leaving. I swear I'm growing far too close to the pressure. The way it always holds all of me together.
All right, guys, that was the final song, track 11, The Benz. It's off of Windwalker's newest album, What If I Break. If you like it, if you like the entire thing, go pick it up. Links in the description, if you can, of course. If not, definitely stream it on all social media music platforms. Is probably, you can get it anywhere now at this point. So go do it if you like it. But I gotta say, this one was a very, very cool way to end off the album. It's like kind of a little bit of like electronic kind of like dark pop sort of a song. I was not really expecting that to kind of close the album out, if I'm gonna be honest. But I like the fact that they kind of give you that sort of vibe. It almost gave me a little bit of like a 21 Pilots sort of feel to it. So a little bit surprised there. But I liked kind of like a little bit more of that dark pop influence. I thought this vocally was very cool. I love the way that the vocals are kind of arranged in this song as well. Very interesting, and just kind of like that straight beat kind of drumming going on was also very nice as well too. But inoffensive in terms of songs. I think if you love like a good kind of vibey sort of end of the album track, then I think you're going to enjoy this one a lot. But don't really have too much more comments to make about it. I think it's pretty straightforward as a song, and just was kind of like maybe more of a vibey sort of ending to the album. But my full thoughts before I get into that, I'm going to read Trevor's final comments. But he said, before this last song, he said, I wanted to say thank you for doing this, man. I hope you enjoyed the album. I had a blast watching this live reaction. Well, much love to Trevor again, and the Windwalkers fam. I keep saying Windwalker as one, it's plural, but they're great. And I feel like if any indication of this album proves anything, I think it's one band that I would highly implore you to go check out, especially if you are more in that sort of like rock, a little bit trying to delve into metal sort of styling of music. I think you're going to find a lot of love with this group. And that kind of segues into my final thoughts on the album. I really enjoyed this. I think this is one album that I know I'm going to be repeating from front to back. A lot of the albums, I am a serial listener in that way, where I will listen to an album from front to back. I don't care how many times, I'm just going to do it because I'm old, and I love listening to albums from front to back. But I think it gives you a really good perspective on this album. And I think with the fact that they released a good amount of the songs off this album, I still love this album the way that it came out. And I think if anything, I think further cemented a lot of my love for the singles and why they chose them. And I think they did a very strategic job of choosing these songs as singles. And then originally, again, this wasn't supposed to come out as an album, but I think the way that they kind of structured it out, the way that the singles hit, I think give you a pretty good indicator of where the full album is. I loved it. It was really, really great. I think if you're looking for a vocal show, I think you're for sure gonna get it with this album. I think for anything from screaming to just like vocal singing, I have been learning how to sing, or at least trying to learn how to sing, and I think for me this is a very good representation of, if you put the hard work in, you're gonna get results like this, or at least you would hope to get results like this. And I think it makes me want to strive to like get to this level where I can kind of do vocal runs like that, or vocal melodies like that, or come up with something really fun and interesting. And so it gives me a lot of inspiration to work on my craft a little bit more. But as well as that, I think the songwriting in this album, if the musicality, the way that the vocals sit, the way that the instrumentation sit, whether you're a drummer, bass player, guitar player, whatever, I think if you look at it at the base bones of everything, the songs are so well crafted. I think the way that the structures of the songs work out, whether it be more on the heavier metal sort of side of things, or be more on the like alternative, like almost like rock sort of styling of things, you gotta say that like the dynamics and the way that the songs are arranged are very well antiquated. And I think it shows a lot in sort of, again, the songwriting of the group. I think they're very well talented songwriters. I think their producers did a very great job of kind of honing in on those skills and making it that much more appealing and that much more, I think, varied for people that enjoy a wide variety of music. And I think you do get a wide variety of kind of different genres smattered throughout this album, and I think it does keep my interest, and is certainly one that I'm going to be spinning a lot before the year's over with, because I think it's going to be pretty high up on my albums of the year list. It's got great repeat quality. The hooks are awesome, and I think there is, like, if I want heavy songs, there are heavy songs on this album, and if I want something a little bit more chiller, a little bit more vibier, then there's certainly songs on this album that definitely scratch that itch as well too. So I think if you are not a big fan of metal music, or you would like to get into metal music, and this is you listen to more pop music or more radio type music, then I think you're going to find a lot of love with this album. But if you are a heavy stan and you like heavy music, I don't think that this album lacks in the heavy department either. I like the risks that they took. I like that they did some different songs, especially Almost Ecstasy, Losing My Color, and Euphoria being, I think, the odd ones out on this album. I like that there is a chance, I like that they took a chance and did something different. So great songs overall. I would say my favorites off the album, Dissipate is still my number one. I'm gonna love that till the day I die. I would say Drowning Him is number two. I would probably put Body Bag at number three. I also really loved Feeding the Gods. I thought that was really great too. And then just to round off my top favorite picks, I really enjoyed Almost Ecstasy a lot. I think that is one that is going to grow on me, and I'm going to put it at number 5 because I believe that it's going to I'm going to be fully convinced that it's going to stay in my top 5 off this album. So really, really fun. I would love to know if you are watching this in the past. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite songs are off the new Windwalker album. If you liked it, again, check the links in the description. Go pick it up. And also, please subscribe. An interview with Trevor is going to be coming out in like 2 weeks, so come hang out. Go check that out. I'm very excited to release it. It was very fun. It was a great interview. And if you wanted to know a little bit more about this album, it's a great podcast to watch. So please go check that out. Thank you so much to the Windwalkers fam for sending this over. Much love to Trevor again for getting this hooked up. And then as well as that, Cosa Nostra editor, thank you so much. Much love to you for getting this all set up. But yeah, please go check out Windwalkers. You will not be disappointed, certainly. So go show them some love. But thank you guys for watching. I hope to catch you in the next live. I do have a couple more planned out, hopefully for this weekend. Maybe taking a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving, the holiday. So haven't decided on that yet. But always content is brewing here on the channel. So very excited to share more with you guys later. But thank you for watching. I got to go to bed. So good night, everyone, and hope to see you in the next video. Peace.